Good day and welcome to the Sport Rep Show. I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraitha, unpacking the latest sports news in and beyond Namibian borders. And now for your latest on the hit list. The Namibia Sports Expo as well as the Namibia Annual Sports Awards were launched today in Windhoek. The Sports Expo will take place from 25 to 27 October under the theme High Performance Sports in Africa, whereas the Sports Awards will take place on 28 October under the theme Celebrating Sporting Excellence. Both events will be held in Swakopmund. The Namibia Sports Expo is in its 4th edition, whereas the Sports Awards is in its 19th edition. Chalo Chainda, the Annual Sports Awards project manager, spoke at the event, and this is what he had to say.
Ceremony. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to stand by the protocol that was already established by the Director of Ceremonies and the previous speakers as well. Of course, the Namibia Sports Awards will be hosted scheduled for this Saturday, 28 October 2023. Of course, it will be celebrated under the theme Celebrating Sporting Excellence, and it's expected to attract over 300 guests. This will include our dignitaries, our nominees, of course the finalists, and also sports celebrities will be coming across the country. We are also going to be honoring the legends, those who have contributed towards the sport development in the country. In terms of the eligibility criteria, the submissions are coming from the federations and umbrella bodies, from which the top 3 finalists shall be then announced or selected, of which then the final winners will be announced during the NASA Gala dinner. The awards are of course made up of 19 categories. We are there to recognize of course the coaches, the athletes, the federations, umbrella bodies, of course the very important people, the journalists who are present here, team sports, and also we recognize them for their outstanding performance through that process of adjudication. And we have a panel of judges that will be doing the adjudication process. Of course, we have those categories where we will have the general public voting for the People's Choice Sports Star of the Year. So we will definitely be having an engagement with the general public as well. Of course, the NASA key timelines in terms of the nomination and the adjudication process, it's going to be an online process that will be on our portal. Of course, we are bringing in innovation every time from the Sports Commission. So that will be submissions on the portal, which is www.nscportal.org. It's opening as of today, closing on the 18th of August, that's the Friday. However, we'll be giving exemptions for those accolades of competitions taking place between the 18th of August until the 31st of August. Of course, that will only give when we have we are duly informed in writing, of course, by through giving us evidence that we are going to be hosting, and I'm referring now to the federations that they are going to be hosting these events. Of course, they must have been approved of national colors and international participation for them to be considered for those exceptional dates for the 2 weeks. The adjudication panel, of course, we have now worked on the number of commences, of course, at the end of September, and hopefully we should be announcing the finalists from the 21st of September somewhere there, but we'll share the details in due course. I'm glad to announce that this year adjudication panel comprises of the very well experienced Mr. Leslie Chiwetha, who will continue to be the chairperson. Ms. Ilke Platt, who is sitting with us here, she last time served as a judge, as panelist for journalists, but we have incorporated everything together so that it's one team. They are doing the same work. She will be the vice chairperson of the judges adjudication panel, and we're very much cognizant of the fact that we have to have our women empowered. We cannot have only men sitting on the table. So hence we have appointed Madam Ilke Platt to be the vice chairperson. We are keeping Mr. Apollos Shimakaleni being the legal expert to advise the team in terms of making sure that we are put everything that we're doing is done by the book. Of course, the legendary, and I'm glad Mr. Carlos Cambegua is here, a senior there, veteran sports journalist, continue to be part of the team. Mr. Isaac Amata, sports journalist, marketing, public relations expert, will be forming part of that. And to make sure that the categories for disability or the athletes with disabilities are not left out, we have Ms. Fernandino Kanji, who will continue to serve in her capacity with those experts. Of course, the winners of the 18 categories are going to be selected through the adjudication process. Once the voting process commence, we will want to really also encourage the general public, and we are going to announce those details. I must say we are doing this, but we can only achieve it through corporates in Namibia that have been really, really very supportive. Today's event is not necessarily to announce our sponsorship. We'll definitely have an opportunity to do that. But we recognize those corporates that have come on board. I've seen Standard Bank, they are here. So we have still our traditional sponsors and corporates that are on board. We will be announcing that. We will definitely make a date for you. However, please feel free. You are more than welcome to be with us here as we move together. It can only take that creating of synergies that we have done with us for us to be able to deliver and be able to recognize our athletes. This year, as we celebrate this event, you have taken note that there's already quite a lot of achievements on the podium performance from the Paralympics that are already participating. A lot of Namibian teams have participated, individual athletes, so we will be definitely celebrating that. I really wish to appeal again to corporate Namibia as we knock on your doors. Please hear us. We are not doing this for ourselves. We are doing it for the people that unite our country. We are going to be launching quite a number of activities, especially on the national T-shirt that we are going to have, so that at least we can raise money from that. So when you are putting your monies into this, you are not just giving it to us. Those who will be coming with value in kind sponsorship, please, you are more than welcome to do that. You will also be able to give you are able to follow us and on our Facebook page. Of course, this event will be live broadcast on television and also on our social media platforms. Any other thing, we will be able to engage you, and we are able to give you more details should you want to know anything around the event. Thank you.
Well, good luck to those who will be nominated and actually win the prizes. Khomas Nampol FC coach Fortune Eichab has confirmed that the team is in the process of signing new players. Eichab, however, refused to disclose their targets, citing the need for confidentiality. Namibian Sun, however, understands that the team aims to bring in both young and fresh players, plus experienced ones, in order to have a well-balanced squad for the 2023-24 season. The team from Windhoek won the Southern Stream First Division, finishing ahead of their closest rivals, Namibia Correctional Service. It was also the first time the team gained promotion to top-flight football in their history. The team will be accompanied by Kakarara Young Warriors Chula Chula FC, who have all gained promotion to the Premiership. The teams have all expressed their interest in beefing up their squads with the aim of surviving next season. Netball Namibia's Vice President of Development, Juanita Witbeen, has urged players to participate in more local and international games in order to grow the game. Witbeen took over the position on 12 June following the resignation of Marvelous Capers Akocha. Her term of office will run concurrently with the current board's term. Witbeen said netball's long-term growth will be achieved by improving performances, visibility and participation at all levels, both local and international. Witbeen said Namibia needs to introduce the fast five playing netball style and men's netball in order to align with the world and avoid failing behind when other countries are already doing so. We will now visit the marketplace before the spotlight. Stay tuned. This week's Spotlight is on Namibia Rugby national team as our coastal reporter Otis Daniels Fing chatted to coach Alistair Coutier about the latest developments. Please do enjoy this one. It has been playing on several of our programs, but this is the extended video. Enjoy.
Coach, very high intensity training session. What is your feeling about your team?
No, I'm pleased with where the players are, to be honest. I mean, they all came from different clubs, different conditioning levels. A lot of them have played competition still. So when you play competition, you normally decondition. So what is happening currently is we're trying to get everyone on the same standard. That's why we've got baseline tests like running the Bronco. A big improvement since the last one we did in Windhoek. So this was the second one, and a couple of guys did it for the first time. But I'm really pleased with where the conditioning is at the moment. There's still a lot of room for improvement. You must remember that the All Blacks, who are, in our section, they've played 2 games already. We haven't played any. They played Argentina, and so that is where I'm gauging and I'm looking at and trying to make sure that we get these guys to a level where we can be really competitive.
Coach, we are heading to the Cup of Nations. What are your expectations for your team?
Yeah, the Nations Cup is it's basically preparation for us. So I mean, every test that we play, we want to win, because you win a couple of games at Nations Cup. It helps with the seeding in the world ranking. You win Uruguay, you win Chile, you move up in world ranking, which is also important for us. Although we've got our objective is to make sure we work on combinations, we give players game time, we want to look at our systems. A test match is always their first objective is to win it. So we want to make sure that we're well prepared to win test matches as well.
Coach, in terms of the performance of the team, you've walked a road, you've journeyed with the team. Where are you now in terms of where you started off?
Yeah, look, it started off last year when we had a tour to Canada and Spain, and we had a match here, I think at a local game at home. And there's a lot of growth, since last year, and then we played in Mzansi Cup. And that was actually a huge step up. The players in Mzansi, they started raising the bar in terms of their conditioning, their physicality, which will help, at test match level. I don't say it's there yet, but at least it's helped, especially our local based players. So, from club level to international is a big step, but at least we had the Mzansi, we had Greek here, and we had the Pumas here in a friendly, where we could test, ourselves physically against bigger packs. So there's a lot of growth, there's a lot of learning, and with the internationals coming back as well, it will help. All our players have really lifted a bar or level or 2 in terms of game understanding and conditioning, and we just need to keep it. Now we need to play. We need to play to see the improvement, to see if the system's well, to see if the combinations work out well. But I can see there's an upward curve, and I'm really pleased about that.
Coach, areas of concern for you?
The big concern is obviously injuries. You're always nervous. Look, Namibia is a smaller country in terms of rugby numbers, and should if you look at the front row, is always a challenge at World Cup, and should you pick up an injury or 2 there, then you're a bit in a spot of bother. Yes. That's why we've cast the net a bit wider. The youngsters, are also in, and so that's the only concern is for me, injuries, and especially to our Type 5.
Finally, from my side, Coach, your message to your players.
The message is simple, it's really exciting times. You've got a great opportunity to write their own history, You've got a World Cup, Nations Cup coming up. So, there's a lot of history with Namibian rugby, and it's time for this generation to write their own stories and their own history. They're all excited. The preparations are going well, so it's up to them to use and capitalize on the opportunity.
How do you find Namibian fans?
Look, they're very passionate about their rugby. One thing about the Namibian spectators, and even in good times and bad times, they are behind the team, and that is what we value and respect. and we'd really like to make them proud of our performances when we run out there, irrespective of the result. I think we want to give everything to them, so they could be proud of their team.
Thank you so much, Coach.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Coach, you at the sports conference, you said that a win at the World Cup this year will be a bonus. Do you still feel like that?
No, it's not a bonus. 2 wins will be a bonus. 2 wins will be, that's what we're going for. We want to win 2 games. Like I said the other day, we shoot for the stars. Hopefully we land on the moon, and that is also a good thing, as long as we land somewhere. The objective is to go out there and try and win 2 games. I know we're talking, we just want this 1 win, but I think we've got to just aim higher than that. And I think we've got talent here, and once the talent understands that they...
Well, Coach, we hope that the 2023 World Cup will come in handy for Namibia and a victory will be achieved for the first time. The Rugby Joel is up next after the break. Stay tuned. Sam Underhill, a starter in the last Rugby World Cup final, was on Monday dropped from the England training squad for this year's competition in France. The 26-year-old flanger was one of the 2 players cut as head coach Steve Borthwick trimmed his squad from 41. The 39 remaining players assembled at England's training base in Bagshot on Monday. Underhill, who plays for Bath, was one of the stars of the England throttled New Zealand in the World Cup semi-final in Yokohama, Japan in October 2019. He then played the entire match as England were in turn outmuscled by the Springboks in the final. The other player cut was 22-year-old Sale prop forward Bevan Rodd, who has won 2 caps. The 21 forwards in the squad include 33-year-old Harlequins prop Joe Muller, who last played for England 18 months ago. Borthwick is due to announce his tournament squad on August 7. We will now go for another break before our international reporter Ario Had brings us the latest international news.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Let's go get rich from that dying old... I need to keep an eye on Beatrice and Dick. They're trying to take our money.
What is it that Dan used to say?
If you're scared of dying, don't be afraid to live.
No one's born bad. Like anything, it takes practice.
What's all the commotion? There's a robbery across the street.
What? I am Puss in Boots.
What's a Puss in Boots?
He is me.
Frank has built something truly special. What he's created out here, it's a different way, a better way.
What are we doing?
Changing the world.
It takes heart and all the soul. A head stuck in the game. It takes every bone in your body, all the blood in your veins. And then more blood, and more sweat, more tears, all your hopes and your dreams. It takes conquering fears. It's late nights and weekends, 6 to 6s, 9 to 5s. It takes sacrifice and suffering every moment of our lives. It takes kick after kick, being kicked when you're down. It takes fighting for hours for inches of ground. It takes every last line out, every last second spent. It takes absolute devotion. It takes 100%.
This month on DSTV Premium, Nora is back as life in the Big Apple continues to surprise her and her outrageous family and friends.
I have an idea.
You do?
Two families battle for the coveted camp trophy in this hilarious family-friendly movie.
That was fun.
That was something.
And F1 hits the tarmac as Red Bull continues their push for dominance.
Absolutely epic!
It's your moment to be entertained by staying connected to DSTV Premium.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news and starting off with Formula One racing news. It is this weekend Formula One racing again. It's a Hungarian Grand Prix that will take place on Sunday, and a week later it will also be the Belgium Grand Prix, so back-to-back Grand Prix coming up. News from Formula One is that Red Bull Honda say that they will make upgrades for their car. They're busy making upgrades for their racing car to be ready for the Hungarian Grand Prix. That's good news for all the other competitors, as it is Red Bull Honda already dominating with Max Verstappen with a 99 point lead at the moment on the top of the general classifications. So it was the previous Grand Prix, that was the British Grand Prix, that McLaren also made upgrades that was hugely successful, and that ended up with Lando Norris taking second place at the British Grand Prix. It is Max Verstappen and Red Bull that said that they believe that the upgrades will make their car even faster, and it is Red Bull that already won 11 races in the 2023 season. Moving on to soccer, and it's still transfer news in the world of soccer making the headlines. That's before all the leagues start later in the year, and it's most of the clubs having tours around the world at the moment. News from Tottenham Hotspur is that they're trying to keep Harry Kane as a striker. Harry Kane, the England captain, quite a significant player for Tottenham Hotspur, but they had a bad season, not qualifying for the Champions League, and Bayern Munich made a massive offer to buy Harry Kane. He's got 1 year left on his contract, but now news from Tottenham Hotspur is that they negotiated with Harry Kane to increase his weekly salary. He's currently earning 200,000 euros. That is weekly money that he's getting, and apparently they negotiations to up that. Good news for Tottenham Hotspur is that Harry Kane is actually with the team at the moment in Australia. They're there for practice games, and then from Australia they also go to Thailand and Singapore. So good news for Tottenham Hotspur that Harry Kane is with the squad at the moment, but it is still not confirmed. It is Bayern Munich that made an offer of 70 million euros to buy Harry Kane. And to conclude today's international sports news, it is cricket news. Much anticipated the Ashes series that continue. It's the fourth test that will start on Wednesday. At the moment, Australia leading the 5-test series by 2-1. News from the England change room is that James Anderson will be back in the team, and he's replacing Ollie Robinson. It is James Anderson that was rested for the third test. He's already 40 years old, and it was a planned rest in the third test. And Ollie Robinson also had injury troubles. He had back spasm in the third test. Also from the England camp is that Moeen Ali is confirmed to be batting at number 3 in the test match. The test match will be played at Old Trafford. It is interesting news for England because Moeen Ali mostly batted in the series at number 7 and 8, and that will allow Johnny Bairstow, the wicketkeeper, to bat at number 7, which makes England the batting lineup quite strong. Australia yet to announce their team for the fourth test. There's also not sure if David Warner, their opening batsman, will make the team. He's been in the team for the first 3 tests, but he failed with a bat mostly, and it was Stuart Broad that got his wicket mostly as well in the first 3 tests. Also, there's 2 all-rounders to pick from. It was Cameron Green that was injured for the 3rd test, and then Mitchell March step into the 3rd test, and he made 100 runs. So it is possible that Mitchell March will retain his position in the Australian team for the 4th Ashes test. That test starts on Wednesday, and it will be played at Old Trafford. That's the international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day and sport week, and we talk again international sport tomorrow. Goodbye.
This brings us to the end of today's show. Catch the Sport Wrap again tomorrow at the same time and place. From me, Jesse Jackson Kauraitha, it is goodbye.